Go.
Good morning, guys. Welcome to today's training session, and we are hosted today by the legend of Lincoln, Mr. James Stacy. So most of you guys know about James, but for those of you that are newer, James has always been one of our top performing agents pretty much since day one when he joined. He's always been a high performing agent and icon agent multiple times. As you can see, doesn't need any introduction. Look above his head and you can see all those awards sitting up there. Agent of the Year with Rate My Agent. He's made the Icon multiple times, top 50 in the REB. So you're learning from the best today, guys. And today, James is going to talk to us about listings leverage. And what does listings leverage mean? It basically means maximizing every single thing you can out of the listing that you've got to attract new business and get more business. So without further ado, James, welcome and take it away. Let us know a
Oh,
bit about
thanks.
what you do.
Thanks, mate. Thanks for having us. And yeah, thanks, Eric, for organising me to come on today. Firstly, obviously, I didn't really prepare too much about for today's discussion. It's more just probably an open discussion about what I recommend you should be doing, especially if you are lacking stock and have extra time on your hands. Listing leverage is something that we did sort of early days in my career. It's more so focusing on your current stock that you've got. And well, firstly, I'm in Port Lincoln, which is a small sort of area. So I've got a smallish market or a small area of homes that I look at. This strategy works when you want to become the area expert in a certain area. It will not work if you're going to be splattered across, multiple suburbs as well. So you sort of want to focus this and focus your energy into one particular suburb or suburbs that you want to be well known in. Firstly, so you want to sort of work on your current listings and your current stock is the best way to attract new business. Like the biggest thing in this industry is activity creates activity. We all know that. The more active agents just stimulate more business because they're just busier. People want what other people want, and people want a busy agent because they know they're obviously good at their job. The quiet agent and the agents that aren't proactive, they've got to fight harder for business. They still get business, don't get me wrong, but they've got to fight harder for it. So you want to become that area expert. So listing leverage is about like if you've got a listing in a particular street, you want to maximize every lead or opportunity that comes out of that from the sellers that want to come and visit that property or future sellers around that sort of neighborhood as well. You want to picture a listing like you throw a pebble into a pond, and when you get that ripple effect, it goes outwards. If you get five listings and you're dropping five pebbles in a pond, all of a sudden those ripples they're going to overlap each other, and it's going to be like a beacon effect, and you're going to like literally cover a suburb really, really quickly. So, so listing leverage. Firstly, as soon as you sort of have a listing, or if you've already got a listing, it's the old. I know a lot of guys don't like doing it, and it's no value add, but is a 10 by 10 by 20, which is a door knocking the street that you're listing on or have a listing on. You don't necessarily have to do 10 by 10 by 20. It's 40 door knocks. It's pretty straightforward. You can do three either side and six across the road. It's just letting the neighbors know that the property's coming on the market or the property's coming, or he's on the market. If there's a signboard, they can already see that. So you sort of want to get in there before the signboard gets up, and you just want to sort of identify that person if they own the property, if they're a tenant or whatever, and obviously just to ask their permission to sort of keep them updated with how that sale progresses. Most people are interested in seeing what their neighbours' properties are like, especially if it's better than theirs. They do want to come through an open home. So I think at that point in time, you're sort of inviting those people to the home open or first home open as well. So you want to sort of be armed with that information. You don't want to be knocking on a door without having a valid reason to knock on a door. So you just don't want to say, like, I've got the listing coming up the road, it's going to be open in the future. And like that's the end of the conversation. You sort of want to knock on the door. It's coming on the market. I'm not sure if you know, but it's three bedrooms owned by such and such if they're a local person and in the neighborhood. The family are relocating, upsizing. You ask the family's permission before you sort of go through this process, of course. But it's about just starting that conversation. Um, updating that person throughout that sale process as well. So obviously asking them to come to the open. you don't ask for their details at the point of the door knock. Obviously, you're trying to get them to come to the open, and then you're going to obtain their details, and you should hopefully recognize them as one of the neighbors and people you've met recently. So you're going to then introduce yourself. Oh yeah, I remember coming to your property. If you obviously introduce yourself at the start, try and get their names, but you don't ask for any details at this point. And then from there, when the property goes under offer, you want to either let them know or knock on their door again. If you've registered through the open, you've got their details. You don't have to then go back and door knock them again. But you want to sort of identify them as a neighbor, not as a buyer. So they're not going to get the same mass communication that your buyers are going to be getting. That's annoying for people that aren't in a selling mode. You want to give them sort of different communication, and just update them through that sale process. Um, Obviously under contract and sold. And at that point, you're then asking, hey, have you heard of anyone else in the street that might want to sell their property? And you always, and it happens to all of us, we all sell properties. And then 3 weeks later, one of the neighbor properties comes up, or 4 weeks later, one of the neighboring property comes up. And you just think to yourself, shit, I had such a good result in that street. Why didn't they call me? They don't know because you haven't told them. You know what I mean? You got to get in their face before they make that decision. And I think I'm not sure what the Adelaide market's like at the moment or the city markets are like at the moment, but I've found after in the last probably 5 years in particular, people are people are sort of making the decision or shortlisting agents probably 3 to 5 weeks before they're ready to list their property. The majority of them, they're not waiting like, probably 5 or 6 years ago, people were calling us in 6 months, 12 months in advance. And don't get me wrong, that still happens, but most people haven't actually selected an agent literally 2 weeks before they come on the market. So you've still got plenty of time to get in there and introduce yourself and, show that person how good you are at your job, to try and get their listing as well. So yeah, that's important. The ripple in the pond effect, obviously the 10 by 10 by 20 is just one part of it. You're also going to be blasting your social media, just listed, just sold, open times and things like that as well. You can boost those. I do boost mine. It's only a small budget boost. It's more so just listing and just sold results. So it's actually seen by a few more people. Um, and obviously your signboard's important as well. It's just that exposure. So all of that coupled together, when it overlaps and you have 3 or 4 listings in the same area, all of a sudden you're overlapping all this work that you're doing. People are going to know who you are pretty quickly. I think everyone knows who Tom Hector is. He did it in his early days. He literally just door knocked and door knocked and door knocked, and people in, I think Ross Trevor is his area. I'm not 100% sure, but just anyone in that area, he's a household name. Everyone sort of knows who he is. We all know who he is because we're in the industry, but someone that lives, on the west side of Adelaide probably has no idea who he is because, he's an agent, so it's not his area. So you sort of want to be a household name in your area. Signboard's obviously a pretty imperative part of that as well. So signboard for every listing. Um, People sometimes say to me, I don't really want a signboard out the front. Um, that's an objection. You sort of want to identify why they have that objection. What's holding them back from having a signboard? It's not necessary. The buyer's not going to walk past the property and see it. And you can always say, look, I'm busy enough. Like I don't need the exposure for the property, the signboard. But it's an identifier for people driving past the property to say that's the property that's on the market. It's a good identifier. And you're also obviously you're going to be knocking on people's doors, but you're also telling the people like 9 times out of 10, someone knows someone that's going to be buying the property, and that happens in my market. I'm sure it happens, in suburbs where you guys are as well. That someone knows someone that's going to be buying a property soon. And that person might be on your street and they might be able to say this, their friend, oh, a property just come up in my street. I've just seen a signboard come up just even before it's online. Give this agent a call and get onto them straight away. So, that's the important thing. And that sort of does overcome that objection of not wanting a signboard 9 times out of 10. So put it back on them. Say, we want maximum exposure for your property, not just online. We want everything. So, yeah, like I said, you sort of want that listing leverage when you're having that open inspection as well, or at the opens. You sort of again obviously inviting a lot of people through the home open. So you're going to have a lot more tire kickers there as well that aren't necessarily buyers for the property. That also comes down to in a quieter market. I was blown away. I was talking to Clinton the other week, actually, just off topic, and he said he still had like 18 or no 36 buyer inquiries in like a week and a half or 2 weeks, and that was a quiet week for one of his listings. And I'm like, mate, if I have 36 buyer inquiries on a property like that I wouldn't have had that in 3 years. You know what I mean? So I think once it does get quieter, and less people start coming to open homes, that's where it's important to have more people around at your opens. It's a sense of this is a busy property. It's good. Obviously, it's well positioned in the market. If you've got a home open and there's no one there, and there's one buyer there, they're going to think, what's wrong with it? There's obviously an issue here as well. So, yeah, and then during those home opens, identifying people obviously as buyers and sellers. If they're a seller and they've got a good property in another area that's half an hour away, or they're upsizing or downsizing, I would suggest if you're light on stock, obviously take it on, but don't put the same energy and effort into selling that in terms of the listing leverage. Get it on the market and sell it. Don't go through the same process to try and pick up more listings in that area unless you want to be known in that area as well. You never want to say no to business, of course, unless it's completely not you or too far away, you can't service it, or you're just too busy to service it. I'm sure there's someone else you can refer the business on to or do a conjunction as well. So, yeah. Does anyone have any questions at all about like listing leverage?
I think it's pretty clear. You obviously do a lot of activity around the stock that you've already got to attract
Yeah.
new stock. And you're talking about, door knocking, letterbox dropping, let people know what's going on. So you're giving them information, you're inviting them along, you're not asking them for anything to start with. You're saying, hey guys, this is what's going on. Come on down, getting them down there, and then basically letting them know what's going on with the sale at every step of the sale. And then after
Yeah.
it's sold and you've got your sold result, that's when you then ask for business. But until then, you're just providing them with information on what's happening locally. And I think
Yeah.
that's a big key factor of it, James, is that if a lot of people go for the throat too early, too fast, and people just get defensive. But if you are just giving them an invitation to come along as a neighbour, even if you're not looking at buying or selling or anything, and you just want to keep up to date with what's happening in the area, come and say good day. More touch points that they get to see you. More time they see you, more they have you stuck in their mind. So when they do get in real estate mode, they think of you. So can I ask, do you still use HomePass to check people in and do like bulk
No,
SMSs to the buyers, or what do you do?
no, I used Agent Box before. I've always used the CRM that I use. I use Rex now the to check
So
people in.
do you do bulk SMSing through
Yeah.
Rex, like letting people know, hey, offers are closing,
Yeah.
hey, under contract, sold, want a free appraisal, that sort of stuff with the
Yeah.
SMS communication as well?
Yeah, so I like to keep it all under the one banner. So yeah, I pay for credits to SMS from my computer. And when the open finishes, just thanking the buyer coming through the open and sending like link through to more information. That's done from my phone. Obviously that part of it's free. When it's sent from your phone, it's free. So yeah, that's another part of it. Obviously that communication. Sometimes people won't tell you that they're a neighbor or someone just kicking tires. They'll pretend to be a buyer because they feel uncomfortable just looking through someone's home. And they might be a seller. So it's really good to sort of see how you work and how much communication you do actually have with your buyers as well. And it really is important if they do show any remote interest in buying or selling property, that they're at least worth a phone call and not just a text message. Like I know a lot of us, and I'm guilty of it too, simply rely on text messages or bulk SMS and bulk email after opens. But if they're a potential seller and they're in that mode of I already own a property, I'm not a first home buyer, you do sort of want to give them the time of day to try and give them the phone call so you can have a better conversation with them as well. Letterbox dropping, I didn't even touch on beyond you said that as well. But yeah, that is another layer that can be added to it as well. Some agents don't. I don't do letterbox drops anymore. There aren't. I don't believe any agents in our area are doing it anymore, and I think a lot of other agents would have backed off as well. So it's going to be it's one of those things that comes in swings and roundabouts. It's going to be a point of difference soon as well. So with you, like again, in my opinion, with a letterbox drop, you don't want to waste it. I would go front to back and do a property on the front that you're letterbox dropping about, and on the back side have a call to action, you know, especially if you're doing a sold letterbox drop, you're then like the
Just
call
share
to
your screen
action.
there, James, with a double-sided letterbox drop so people
Yeah,
can sort
so
of get an idea.
so that's an open letterbox drop. So with your sold, there's only so much information they're probably sold, right? So you don't need to add photos and do any more on it. So my opinion, your call to action, I think you've got it there on the bottom there is your call to action is like requesting an appraisal and how much like what is this result, what has this sold result done for your property? And people that question, you're not asking for an appraisal, but what has this done for your property? Want to know more? And I think that's important. So with that, with your sold brochure, your sold letterbox drop there, is that an open one? Have you got a sold one?
That's an open home one where we put the open times and we like, as a local, we'd like
Yeah.
to invite you to the open homes below.
Yeah.
But I'll go to a sold one. I'll show people an example of a sold one. So for example, we'll do, I don't know, this one here, for example, and I'll go into my campaign. I've got a sold drop.
Whilst Bjorn
This
does
is all
that,
open to
James,
view, by the way, guys. So that's just listed. So this is just sold.
James, whilst Bjorn searches that, can I ask you a question, mate, and lean on your many years of experience and wisdom? And it sort of rung true when you're talking about the signboard, because I know some people are adamant about having a signboard on every listing. I know I try and encourage it, absolutely. I know some agents might say if there's an objection around that, we just take it away out of the marketing campaign straight away. A bit like this on-market, off-market stuff. What is your? We all have an opinion in this space. I'm seeing more off-market stuff happen than ever before, obviously because the
Mm.
market's hot, which is great. Don't get me wrong, if it provides the buyer and a seller a solution. But what do you think the long-term effects can be to that agent if they're not already established or
Yeah.
proven in their areas and their communities? What's your
Yeah.
thoughts
So
on that?
so on market, off market is really interesting. Like I do move a lot of properties off market. Usually the properties I'm moving off market are back to investors. They're not owner occupier buyers. Anything that I'm doing owner occupier buyers where I'm expecting good numbers through open homes, I'm usually getting on the market. And usually I'm encouraging my owners to put those properties on the market. But that goes without saying, like, people especially in my area, again, small community. When someone lists their property, they're excited. They start telling their friends tell their friends that know someone that's probably going to have a look at the property or likely to buy the property. They get in contact with me straight away. It's just happened with a big 5 bedroom home that I've got in the market at Boston. They heard on the grapevine that I had it coming on the market. They've called me. I'm not going to say no. I'm obviously still working for the owner. And I said to him, look, unless they offer a great price, there's no point getting them through. But if I'm going to get them through, I'm also going to show another group through that I know would be interested in the property. We had the property listed at 855. 860 and 880 were the offers that came in, so they were very good offers. In fact, the property was coming on the market 795 to 855. I represented 855 at a single price to these off-market buyers, and so the offer price was great. Um, 860, 880. The 860 bought the property, which were the people that knew the owners, and the 880 was subject to sale. But without the 880, I wouldn't have had the 860 offer. Like they wouldn't have paid that much for it. So again, using the competition to create or giving the owner at least options. I'd be very cautious about just showing one buyer through an off-market property. Um, Even if you think it's a great price, at least try and show 3 or 4 buyers through just to give the vendor options still. Even if they don't make offers, at least you can give them their feedback and at least you can say that I didn't exclusively just offer it to this because that might come back in the future and bite you in the ass if there's ever, oh, I would have paid more for that. The agent didn't even tell me it was available. So if you are going to do off markets, I think that it's important to still show multiple people through the property before you get them to commit to selling to one buyer in particular. Even if you've got a no one buyer that's going to pay absolute, way over market value for it, I'd still be showing 2 or 3 buyers through and recording it just to say and feedback just to say that you've done, the right thing by the owner. Um,
I think
as far as as far
that
as the off market goes, the listing leverage can still be done. you can still let buyers on the street know that you just had a silent listing sold off market. There's still plenty of people in the market looking to buy, blah, blah, blah. The result was great, street record, blah, blah, whatever, however you want to spin it. And you can still get a little bit of momentum from those. But if you're not an established agent, I wouldn't be selling much off market at all. I know it's an easier way out to try and secure a listing and business because it's free to sell off market, but you need the exposure as a newer agent or as an agent that's struggling to get
My two
listings.
cents worth on it is to call it pre-market rather than off-market, because off-market it's just got the word off in it, and that's just a psychological thing. It says something's off about this, so you can call it whatever you like. But if you want to do it that way, call it pre-marketing, because that's like it's you're gonna do something else. And Bjorn does that very well because it's like I'm doing this before I do the real marketing, and it's just a psychological difference. Like you're gonna go two-step, and if you don't go to the second step, you still got something that sounds more powerful, and then that sounds a bit off. So that's my 2 cents worth.
I,
Thanks.
I think
Yeah.
that's great dialogue, Eric. It's like I always refer to it as pre-market, and I'll give you an example. We're not all going to walk away from business if a client says to us, "I adamantly do not want opens at this stage. I don't want a crowd of people coming through, all the neighbours, the sticky beaks, all of that." Right? I got one listing at the moment that's exactly in this category. So I said what we can do is we can run a pre-market campaign where I'll bring in probably the best 20% quality of the market that we know, budgets, conditions. Maybe they've made an offer on another property and they've missed out. We need some time to build up into that campaign. But one of the things I pre-framework that I think is really important in that situation, and James hit the nail on the head, is selling to one buyer can be it can almost be deemed as a conflict if you're only introducing one buyer and it's not giving you seller options. One of the things I'm very clear in a pre-market campaign is I say to them, look, Eric, if I do all this work, one or two things is going to happen with this smaller portion of market that I'll bring in. I won't bring in the quantity, but I'll bring in the quality. One, you'll get some invaluable feedback from the market. So you're not hearing it from me and the other agent what we need to do. You're hearing it from the now market. Two, you could get an offer or a couple of offers from those pre-market buyers. But one of the things I'll let you know now is that if those offers are competitive against each other as a pre-market opportunity, and you ask me this question, because often sellers will, when offers come about early on, Chris, do you think there's more money in it? And the only way to test if there's more money in it is we have to go to the on-market option to explore every buyer out there to see if there's more money out there. So if you ask me that question in the pre-market campaign, it's got to be an offer, amount and conditions that you're happy with. If it gives you what you want, you move forward. If it's not, then we have to flip it to the open market. I think it's really important to pre-framework that in a pre-market situation up front before you just bring in one buyer or a few buyers.
I think
Absolutely.
also you got to look at pre-market as like a way to get the listing. So rather than them going to 3 or 4 or 5 different agents, you go, look, we can do a pre-market campaign, no sale, no charge, cancel anytime, 100% risk-free. Everyone's got an opinion, but it's the buyers that really count. Why don't we get some people through your doors that have missed out on other properties and then get at least, like you said, minimum of feedback if there's anything we need to do to the property. And then we can sit down and discuss if we want to go on market after that. And then at least you're getting a security and you're securing a deal. But like Chris says and James says, I think if you are a newer agent, your goal is to get good marketing campaigns on everything because that's what's going to give you more exposure, which is going to lead to more listings, like what this session's all about. I've got the flyer up here now, James, if you don't mind me sharing that. It's just, this is one that Haley and I do. I still do just listeds and just solds for everything, every property, and I make sure I keep track of what properties I'm putting the invite to opens in. And then we make sure that we drop the exact same flyer in the exact same houses so they get that communication. So you can see it's sold by Team Bjorn Cundall, Haley Beckett, your local Modbury North area experts. Doesn't matter what suburb it is, it's just I become the area expert, Haley and I do. Your local Windvale, your local Anglevale, your local Port Lincoln, whatever, right? And then it's just got a story. Another one sold in 9 days for the price. Like James said, giving them information at the front and on the back. There's a QR code they can scan, which takes them to an appraisal form. And it tells a story. The home was sold for X in whatever, sold these, blah, 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 a bit about us. The most expensive mistake you can make is selling with a rookie. At Team EXP, they've seen it all and sold it all. How many buyers came through, how many opens, how many written offers. We can help you sell your home for more money in less time with no stress at a much higher profit than anyone else because we have the experience and superior strategy. Bang. Haley and I get a lot of listings from listings. But it's like James says, you just want to be active.
Go back to that, Bjorn. That's that thing. So I'll just give you my feedback on it.
The flyer. Yep, let me
Yeah,
just go
go
back
back to the
there.
flyer. Sorry. two things. One, you've got a spelling mistake in it.
Yeah, I
Um,
probably do because I can't spell.
book, boom, and
XP
appraisals.
reality, remember?
XP reality. The call to action's good, but it's only targeting sellers. So go back down to the second page. So you go, we help sell your. So you're asking, we can help sell your home for more in less time. So you're only really then targeting like immediate sellers, as opposed to saying, how has this price affected the price of your property, as opposed to just offering an appraisal price to sort of capture their information. That's just how I would structure it. And you've got scan here to boom a free appraisal as opposed to book a free appraisal.
Actually,
But yeah,
that's a good point. It's probably because I don't want
yeah,
to get
that's
bogged
just
down with
that's
the
just my
praises. I
feedback,
want
and
to get
that's the information you always want to say. If you're going to be sharing information, you're not going to be asking to appraise their property to sell, because then you're only going to be targeting the people that are in that immediate sell stage. You sort of want to offer that information just to keep them updated with how things are progressing with their asset. Everyone loves, the realestate.com. I always follow what my property's worth on realestate.com, what the banks always spit out to say what the property's worth. People follow it along. Even I do that and I know the value of my property. So I think just having that information available and offering there's no pressure. Like, I'm not going to ask you to sell your property. I just want to give you more information so I can educate you more. That's more so where I'm at than just book an appraisal to sell your property for a great price.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I guess I go more with the hard approach because we're so busy, and I don't really want to. I don't really have time to be doing appraisals. I just got time for doing listings, but that's only because of where I'm at. But I agree 100%. I think you want to build your pipeline. You want to build appraisals. These are sold stickers, guys, that we use for our leverage as well. We put one of these on all of our properties and it's got a story. It says it's sold, thinking of selling, sell with us. The story of how long it was on the market, how many buyers, how many opens, how many offers. I think if you're not doing sold stickers, I think something you can look at as well. But just sharing a couple of little things there
Mm.
from the letterbox side of things.
Yeah, sold stickers are good, and obviously putting your solds on with your buyers as well is important, unless they don't want to do it themselves. I always give people the opportunity to meet me on site. Buying a property is a big milestone. Sometimes investors aren't too fast. Sometimes people aren't phased at all. Other people love it in social media. I don't put other people on my social media in terms of photos of people doing the sold stuff. It's always good to do, but I know some people are a bit funny with it. I would be funny with it, personally. So yeah. That's why I don't do it. But yeah, does anyone have any questions about or want to ask me anything at all?
Yeah, I do, James.
Oh, okay.
Um,
We can take
Possibly
this
I
off.
already know
We
the
can take this
answer.
offline, mate.
Obviously, you're saying that you like say, what does this mean for your property? And you're getting called in to do these appraisals, and these people are not looking to sell. And even for the people that sit there and say, "Oh, I want," just call you and say, "Look, I want you to appraise my house, but I'm not looking to sell." How do you keep in touch with them after that?
Yeah, so they go into an abyss of no, they don't. So so I think it's just keeping them updated. And I think once you've got them in there, it's just giving them the opportunity to, I always have people ring me and say, oh, this is what I'm looking for, X, Y, Z. And I'll generally go back through my last 12 months of appraisals to see if I've done anything similar. And even if those people haven't identified that they want to sell their property, I always call them and say, hey, look, I know this is going to come a little bit left field. I know you didn't get me in to sell your home. You just wanted an appraisal. These buyers have approached me. This is exactly what they're sort of looking for. Can I show them through? I did that a few weeks ago with a property Windermere we talked about the other day, and I literally just heard along the grapevine these people were looking to sell, so I just called them. I was like, I know they looked at properties with me, 4 years ago. I had their details in my database already. I called them. I went out there the next day and listed the property for sale on the market, started showing buyers the next day. They were in the mode of already decided they were going to sell their property. They'd already told their family and friends. But yeah, to answer your question, Dipper, they, what's it called? Active Pipe, generally update all my appraisals for me. I don't nurture those people with phone calls every 6 months or 12 months. I'd be lying to you to say that I did. Everyone should do that. Everyone should be ringing their appraisals or past appraisals, 6 month intervals, in my opinion, just to touch base, update regularly. Would you like an updated appraisal? But yeah, Active Pipe generally update my people with information, and they love it. I mean, I've only introduced Active Pipe into my business in the last probably 9 months, and people seem to be adopting pretty well, updating their profiles as well. So yeah.
I'll just add to that, Jason. I do have an appraisal follow-up track that I've built out in Rex if you want to replicate it, mate. So what it does, it sends an SMS the night of the appraisal at 8:30 p.m. Hopefully you finish the appraisal by then. But it's just an SMS, just thanking them for the opportunity to allow you into their home. It sends a little link to maybe your website, maybe to your socials, whatever that you've spoken about generally at the appraisal. Then the next morning, there's an email track that sends out an email at 9 a.m. So this is automated. I don't have to manually click it the day after the appraisal. There's a Gamma website that I've built of why would you sell with Chris Jansen. You can replicate that, just put in your photo, your contact details. And then the day after that is just the follow-up call. So 48 hours post the appraisal. So if you want to spend some time, mate, helping you build it out, just let me know. It's pretty straightforward. It's all there. So that's all I generally do is SMS night thanking for the appraisal opportunity, linking them back to a bit of digital social content. That's me. Next morning after the appraisal is an email saying thanks, here's why you'd sell with me. And then the following days, an automated track remind in Rex. All I'm doing is picking the phone up, following up. Bit like James, after that, depending on the motivation, obviously I do weekly emails, so they're getting that. But sometimes I'll choose if they're pretty hot, I'm probably following it up every 2, 3 weeks. If it's sort of 3 to 6 months, it might be just checking in bi-monthly there afterwards. But if you just want an automated track, it's in Rex, ready to go.
I think it's another thing, guys, with everything that James has spoken about today and other people that have contributed is there's two things that you take from what's going on there. Two things that you take from the high performers is they let everybody know that they're competent in what they do by letting everybody know about the results, what's happening, whether it's on letterbox shops, whether it's on door knocking, whether it's calling people. Nothing beats calling people, I think, and nothing beats door knocking because they're two face-to-face things and people get a good vibe of somebody when you're face-to-face. You got social media. So the thing, make sure that everybody knows that you're a competent real estate agent, which is communication. Like James said, imagine seeing a sign go up on your street before you'd received any notification as a neighbour that that sign was about to go up versus receiving notification that there's a property coming up on your street before the sign goes up. It's very powerful because you feel like you're giving them a VIP, a bit of an advanced sneak peek. Oh, we knew about this before everyone else did because we live on the street. We're special. And the other thing is communication. Like James is really big on his communication. Like I know James doesn't run a million marketing sites trying to flashy, look at me to get business. But James just is straight to the point and a very, very, very good communicator. I've seen him in work and he just talks to people and he talks to people and he talks to more people and then he talks to people and he talks to more people again. And I think there's nothing that beats talking to people. And a lot of us look for that golden bullet. What's that golden bullet? What's that one automated thing I can put into my business so I can sit back and relax all day and do nothing and I get all these leads and all this business? And, how can I design something where people they don't even need me as an agent. They can talk to each other themselves and sell properties amongst themselves. There's no golden bullet. There's no golden bullet. The golden bullet is getting off your ass and knocking on doors, getting off your ass and talking to people. Would you agree with that, James?
No, 100%. I don't. Bjorn's been to my open homes, and he was blown away by how simple they are. I don't do glossy brochures. I don't have scan here QR codes. I don't have anything. I take an R3, display that as per legislation, and an open board sign. I wish I had flags, but I just don't have flags. Yeah, very simple open homes. People, if they ask me for a business card, which is rare, I have business cards on me. But sometimes people ask me for a brochure because that's what the other agents do. And I usually say, look, I'm all about the environment here. You know, we print off 100 brochures and I'll give 4 away to them home open before I sell the property. And I'm throwing 96 of them out. There is no point me having home open brochures or home brochures for this property. Things are selling so fast that they're just not worth it. Sorry, I'm just saving the environment. You know, put it back on them. Oh, I can't believe I asked that guy for a brochure. But, you know, it is nice to give someone to take away for the property when things are slower. Yes, I think brochures are important because that's when people go away, they think they put the glossy brochure on their coffee table, their friends, family start to like talk about it. But I think personally, buyers have changed and buying behaviors have changed as well. I think people now are like if someone's going to make an offer on the property, they know they're going to make an offer on that property before they visit the property. At a home open, the home open is just an affirmation. Yeah, we're going to do it. We're going to make an offer on this property. So, whereas before, I think the marketing probably wasn't as good online, and people had to come to the home open to see the property, and then they take the glossy brochure away. They think about it, but people are conditioned now to make faster decisions and buying sort of straight after the home open, like they're prepared to buy before the home open almost to make offers. Like plenty of people make offers sight unseen now. It's just like, if you'd said that 10 years ago that someone was going to spend $500,000 in my market, $1 million in your market, sight unseen, you'd say no way. But now every third person's doing it.
And that's where I was always taught, James, that listing, like open inspections, they're not for selling the home, they're for getting you more business. They're for getting you in front of the community. Because like I said, people do buy things. People will see a property online. They'll pretty much have an idea. Do I like it? Do I not like it? Like I said, we've sold properties with 3D tours, with Facebook videos, with whatever. And like you said, sight unseen.
Yeah.
And not just development sites either, but family homes from people that are coming in to stay.
COVID made that acceptable to buy on a video tour. Like that, and it's become acceptable now. It blows me away that people still buy homes in my market 700 grand on a video because I can show them a video of what I want to show them. They're still not getting the whole picture. Like, not that I'm hiding it, not that I hide anything when I'm showing a property because that just creates obviously issues. But, there are agents that do it. It just blows me away that people are still doing that as well. But, if they're just investing in an area, that's what they're doing. So, people are making less for sort of emotional decisions. So I had a point, but I was going to say something, but I've forgotten now what I was going to say. So it was a great one.
Something about opens, was it? Something maybe about we're on the track of open inspections, or maybe about lead following up with clients, maybe?
No.
What Chris was talking about?
No.
Databasing.
No. You hit the nail on the head about being competent as well. I think being the area expert, knowing your business, knowing your area, knowing your market. So I follow every property that comes on the market in Port Lincoln with the star on realestate.com. So I get notifications when it has a price reduction, open a home, it has a under offer, and when it gets sold as well. I don't have to go and look for the information if I put the star in because realestate.com tells me when things happen. So I can always pick up the phone to someone that is a future seller and say, hey, letting you know, I didn't sell it. You don't have to say I didn't sell it, but that property that was similar to yours has now gone under contract in the market. Especially if their home's coming into the market, that's one less property we have to worry about as competition now as well. Or once it sells, you can then update them as well. So it's not only just about using your current listings as leverage, but other agents' listings as leverage as well to try and get more properties or speed that process up. You want to try and speed people coming onto the market, especially if you are lacking stock, and bring as much on as you can, as quickly as you can.
Do you do many like much video testimonials, those sort of things, James, or not really?
No. I'm not a tech person, mate. I'm not tech. Like I said, you've been through my home opens. I'm a simple communicator. I text people, I email people, WhatsApp. I've got a lot of people that don't live, well, not a lot of people, but people that don't live in Australia selling properties here as well. WhatsApp, I've got a couple of people in Asia at the moment that I'm selling properties for. So, you communicate with them. Jump on WhatsApp if you haven't got it. It's good for communicating with people on holidays, even when they go overseas. Everyone sort of has a property they sort of put on the market and goes overseas or something. So it's just good to communicate with people. And I try not to keep my bulk SMSs too generic. over and over again. So if you've got active buyers, you sort of want to change the SMS. You don't want to have the same text for every single property. You sort of want to change it up a little bit so it looks like you are customizing it rather than just being in robot mode.
Cool. Anyone got any other questions for James while we've got him? He's a very busy man. He's giving us his time. Anyone got anything they want to ask him? No, you've covered it all. I'll just quickly share one more thing, just for people that do want to maybe look at video testimonials. Sold celebrations. This is one thing that I've adapted into my business, which I do for every single property. And some people don't want to be a part of this. Like James says, he doesn't put photos of people on his socials or whatever because a lot of people don't want it. I'll always ask, and Haley and I'll always ask, or whoever I'm working with, always ask the client, hey, do you want to do a sold celebration? Because they've seen them on the socials. And if you do them, I'll just share my screen again quickly and just show one last little thing. These little things go a long way, and these little things get, like, I've been called in for 2 other potential bits of business just based off of this, which was just a little sold celebration, which I'll just quickly play.
Got to click share audio, mate. There's no audio coming through.
The reason I show that is a lot of agents make a mistake of telling everybody else how great they are. But when people see that sort of stuff, it might be a bit corny, whatever. I've got the champagne, there's champagne on the sold stick or whatever. But the clients love it because I'm like, you ever seen when you pop the champagne when you win the Grand Prix? I'm like, you ever done that? No. Well, let's go and do it now. And woohoo! And all I do is just that. And they say whatever they want to say, how short it is. But when clients see other people that are happy that you've served, then the trust level goes through the roof. You can sit there and tell them how great you are till the cows come home. But when somebody else just is happy and shows that they've done a good job, it goes a long way. So I put them on my YouTube, and I've got, testimonials on there, just as much as you can. If you want to get into video and you want to start doing video, just set up a YouTube channel and put that out there, because the amount of business that we'll get, Adelaide's a very competitive market, like, 10 agents every square kilometre or whatever the hell it is. And people, when they see this stuff, when you are in a highly competitive market, it does help. So if you are an agent that is in a highly competitive market, maybe set yourself up with some social channels. And yeah, that's all I wanted to share. So I'll stop sharing.
Just out of curiosity, Bjorn, because you are the master of that, and it's always in my feed, and I always still smile every sold celebration I see of yours, because you can see the authenticity in the clients and how happy they are. But for somebody who's like, when do you organize that? Like, are you calling on unconditional saying, let's come out and do that? Or are you just like literally on the spot when you're doing the sold sticker and the champagne and saying, hey guys, can I just grab a quick video? Like, how do you pre-framework it, and how do you encourage the client to get in front of the camera? Because not many people are comfortable or confident in front of the camera. So how do you encourage that environment?
Yeah, we do it on, like, as soon as the property goes unconditional, we order the sold sticker, and then the sold sticker gets put up automatically by Open to View. They put that up for us. And then when we go and catch up with the client a couple of days before settlement or a day before settlement or whatever it might be, that's when we bring a vendor gift, some chocolates, a bottle of champagne that they can drink, and also another one. And then I'm just like, all right, guys, congratulations. Let's get a photo. Let's have a celebration. And then I just go, all right, let's go. Let's do something normal. Photo of the clients, photo with us with the clients. All right, guys, let's have some fun. Do something stupid, crazy. I know, stick your tongue out, hands in the air, just make it fun. And then I'm like, all right, now you ever won a Grand Prix before? And they're like, what are you talking about? I'm like, you seen that champagne bottle pop? You seen that champagne that's on the sold sticker there? Well, that's what you got to do now, guys. Like, get in here, come on, shake it up, get into it, have a bit of fun. And they all love it. We just get a $10 bottle, but they love it, don't they, Haley? They absolutely love it. And then it brings more business. I mean, Haley and I have even gone to the extent where we've had some VIP clients that we've actually been taking out for lunch after settlement. Instead of a gift, we've been taking them out for lunch, and then we've been taking them to the casino, and we've been giving them $100 spending money in the casino, and we spent like 2-3 hours with them. And then they're referring friends and family to us left, right, and center. Now, we tell them we can't do this with every client, right? You're VIP. So it'll be like friends of family or someone who's paying us a 3% commission or a 2.75% commission or whatever. But it's just like I said, there's several different ways that you can leverage from success that you've currently got. everybody goes after cold business, but cold business doesn't know you. You're better off to work around the business that you've got. Like James was saying, use the business that you have to leverage, whether it's the clients, whether it's asking them if they've got any friends or family to sell, whether it's a sold sticker, whether it's a door knock, whether it's, 4 or 5 conversations. The opportunity is lost if you're not working the people that come through your property, because buyers are sellers and sellers are buyers. So it doesn't matter how you do it. I work very differently to Chris. Chris works differently to James. James works differently to Mark, maybe. Who knows? But there's so many ways to skin a cat, as they say, guys. And as long as you're doing something, you're going to be doing a lot better than doing nothing. That's for sure.
Yeah, I'll just add that, mate. Chris hit the nail on the head with you as well, saying that he always sees that in his news feed. I think when you do it, you just got to do it consistently. Don't do that once off because it's just going to look awkward. And when you're popping champagne, pick your client. If they're a very reserved person, don't try and make them pop champagne because it's just going to be awkward, and post them online if it's awkward. Pick your wins, know your wins. But the energy, you can just tell from what Bjorn just said, and just backing him up here, the energy he just put into how he did that is why his clients are happy, cheering, popping champagne. If you don't give that positive energy before they do that, they're going to pop it and they're going to shake awkwardly and just not say happy, chirpy things. It's just going to be an awkward situation. I've seen it unfold. It's like when a bad auctioneer calls an auction, like it's almost awkward. They're just doing it by the script, but when they've got no energy and enthusiasm in doing it, people just sit there with their hands in their pockets as opposed to it. I mean, we've all seen it when someone's like chirpy and getting up and about, the clients will be up and about as well. But like energy is infectious. So when you're getting someone to do something like that, you've got to put energy and effort into it. Don't just give them a bottle of champagne and say, hey, shake that in front of the sign so I can get a photo and a video of you saying something nice about me. And do it consistently. Do it with do it with most properties you sell. That would be my
And you hit the nail on the head there, James. You ask, hey guys, do you want to do a champagne celebration and pop some champagne in front of the sign and have a bit of fun, do a little video, do some photos. Some people go, no thanks. Haley and I were at Williamstown yesterday with this guy that's just come back from the UK who bought the property from the UK sight unseen. He didn't want any of it. He said, we'll get a photo in front of the sign for you guys to put on your socials because I see that's what you do, but I don't want any videos and I don't want any popping champagne or anything. He goes, you take that one home for the next client. That's fine. And we just did what he wanted to do. We just took a photo with him. We didn't do any hoo-ha because he didn't want the hoo-ha. So James is right. You've got to pick your clients. You can't just force anything on anybody. You've got to make it a thing that they want to do, and you've got to always ask for these things because you can stuff it up. If you put somebody who hates camera and hates videos and isn't in social media and thinks social media is the worst thing on the planet and you're trying to put them into your social media, you got to make sure you ask permission because otherwise that client will tell 100 people, oh, you put me on social media, don't go with him, even if you've got a great result. So you've got to pick your clients very carefully when you do that stuff. So good point, James. All right, legends, we're about to wrap up. Anyone got anything else they want to add? Anything they want to share? Any challenges, any wins? Anything they want to ask the legend before he signs off and sells 1 million properties? I'm talking about you there, James.
Yeah, I want to have a quick chat to you after about some speakers coming up.
Me or James?
You, sorry. No, thanks.
Yeah, cool. Give us a buzz. I don't have a busy day, so we'll have a chat.
I'm just going to add, guys, real
few things to talk about. If you've got a minute with me afterwards.
I just want to add, guys, we got the national monthly meeting at 11:30 our local time in an hour's time. It's Rob's last one in his corporate tenure. So if you can make it as a bidding farewell for him, that'll be greatly appreciated. But also, we've got some phenomenal resources that we've been working on incredibly hard behind the scenes for you guys to support you into 2026. So we're going to be announcing those resources at the national meeting at 11:30. More resources than we've ever had. I remember when we started here, Bjorn, I think our onboarding was a 4-page PDF document. That was about all we got. The stuff that we've worked on now, guys, with support, a lot of the questions we get constantly in the Facebook Messenger group, all of these resources are built around that. So you've got access to that stuff at the click of a button at your fingertips. So if you can make it, we'll be there in an hour.
Cool, guys. We'll see you next week. Now, we've got another special guest next week, I believe, Eric's.
Yeah, next week we've got, where are we?
Is it Rex Reach?
Blake Hoots from Rex Reach. And then after that, we've got the one and only Jason DePolo. In the new year, you've got Haley, and then we've got I'm doing a session on props. Mario talking about NDIS and subdivision, and Buri Stoner and Chris Janison are talking about some AI prospecting systems in all the new year. So if anyone else is keen, let us know, because obviously sometimes these speakers won't have the whole period of time, and people got always time to put in their 5 or 10 minutes worth or add something quick if they want to. So yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, that Rex Reach, I did a session on that last week, on Monday this week, sorry, and actually looks like a pretty good product. I don't know. I think Jason, is that what you were talking about a few weeks ago?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I had a session also.
yeah,
It's brilliant, and I'm glad can't even talk. I'm glad Chris brought it up last week because I think it's far superior to the audience maximizer that realestate.com are doing. So
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
definitely well worth having a look.
Yeah, what I liked about it, I've just given him the go ahead. I've got my agreement in my inbox. It's just come through. That's what reminded me of it. Is you can do like obviously Justice is just sold advertisements through Facebook and the Google network, but you can also do awareness campaigns for you as an individual agent as well, which I think is pretty cool. And testimonials too, which is pretty good. So it's not only just boosting property or advertising properties and results, it's also doing like brand awareness and agent awareness in your market too. So it's just like to me, this would be almost better than or as good as or something just to layer on top of your like your listing leverage, like your just list is just sold in that area, like you're just smashing it. So it's something I'm going to do it. I think the minimum sign up for me is 500 a month for a 12-month commitment. I just had a quick gloss over the document then.
Yeah,
Um,
that's correct, mate.
which I think which I think is like almost all of it. I'm not sure the actual budget split they've got, but most of it looks like it goes to ad spend, which is pretty good. So
It
um,
does.
yeah,
Yeah. And if
yeah,
you're charging like 199, 249 per listing, two listings a month is covering that expenditure for you. And you can just do your reimbursement claim form, guys, obviously, to
yeah,
claim back from the VPA funding. But
yeah,
yeah, just think of it, all the meta ads training that we've done, right, in Ads Manager to create your own awareness and engagement
yeah,
campaign through Facebook. It's just built into Rex Reach now, and it's just like drag, click, load your video, your image, whatever you want. It's all the training we've done over the years in Meta is just now in Rex Reach, and it's a very clean, easy dashboard to
yeah,
navigate.
yeah, and
So
yeah. So I'm going to sign up for it for what it's worth too. So yeah, I think we're going to
look out.
saturate the market over here, Dipper, with our Facebook ads pretty soon.
I think it's golden because the one thing that we've always done, I've been doing it for like 2.5, maybe 3 years now. And everybody that knows me knows that I don't really prospect much, but I use Sean Egan, who does Google, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. It has changed my business. I'm seen everywhere. It's changed my business because you've got Facebook and Instagram, which are together, and then you've got YouTube and Google, which are together, and you want to be on both sides of things, not just Facebook, because there's different demographics for different people. And majority of the baby boomers, believe it or not, guys, their number one go-to is YouTube. YouTube is the number one go-to for people over the age of 60 because they watch how to fix a tape, how to
Yeah,
how to
my old
build a
man.
workbench, how to build a toy Christmas tree for your
How to,
nephew or your
how to swing a
niece,
golf club.
whatever. So
How to swing a golf club. That's my old man.
yeah.
Learning
And
about
guess
golf
who's
balls.
get we are a bit off topic here, but we are in the largest transfer of generational wealth that this country has ever seen as the baby boomers are now hitting their 70s and into their 80s. And these are the guys that have got the houses to sell that have bought them for 12 shillings and 4 sixpence back in 1843. So these are the guys that you want to get as your customers and your clients because these are the guys that will tell all their friends in their little church groups or friends in their circle of influence or friends at their knitting club or friends at their bowling green or friends at the golf club. Baby boomers, guys, get in with the baby boomers. And I tell you what, your business changes because these guys aren't people that have bought their houses 2 years ago and trying to make 100 grand profit because they're greedy. These are people that it's like, yep, it's worth what it's worth. And you can make a lot of money with the baby boomer market. Um, One thing I've started doing is helping put people into retirement village, into the Lavandi retirement village. I've put about 6 families in there now, and they refer me clients that go through there looking at going into the retirement village, and they've told their friends, and they don't complain about your commissions, they don't complain about your fees. So yeah, YouTube, guys, it's where the baby boomers are at. So get onto YouTube if you're not on there. Any last words, James?
No, perfect. Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me. Thanks for the invite.
Thanks for being here, mate. Great session, and appreciate you as always. And keep smashing it, boys.
Thanks, James.
Thanks, mate.
See you, legends.